Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Wishing a personal morning to the distinguished guests, faculty members, and vibrant youth. A genial welcome to an event that promises to be enriching journey into the realm of possibilities and empowerment. Today, the Department of English takes immense pride in presenting to you an engaging and thought-provoking session centered around the theme of youth accreditation, unleashing potential through management fables. In an era where innovation and entrepreneurship stand as pillars of progress, it is imperative to equip our youth with the knowledge, skills, and inspiration to navigate the complexities of the modern world. Through the medium of management fables, we aim to ignite the spirit of enterprise within our enterprising students, fostering a culture of leadership and creativity. Now, let us delve deeper into the timeless wisdom encapsulated within these fables. Brace yourselves for an enlightening experience as we unravel the secrets to success and unlock the boundless potential that lies within our youth. Dear participants, now we will have a video to be presented.
Shashi Tharuran. எனக்கு சசி தன்னோட கூட்டு வர்றது இன்னும் எனக்கு போகவே இல்லை. இந்த ஃபீட் அவரை கூட்டு
Dear participants, this was a short video of unveiling how successful our resource person is. So, to know more about him, we have Ms. Tarni to introduce our special guest today. To render a warm welcome to all, I affably invite Ms. Tarni to give away the welcome address.
Good morning, esteemed guests, distinguished speaker, and faculty member, and dear participants. Today we embark on a voyage of discovery guided by the wisdom of fables and the dynamic insights of a distinguished speaker, Mr. Sreedhar Bevara. He epitomizes the essence of seizing opportunities and unlocking one's leadership potential. From humble beginnings as a street vendor and milk delivery boy to ascending the corporate ladder to become the general manager at Panasonic Corporation, Sridhar's life story serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration. Alumni of prestigious IIM Ahmedabad, Sridhar Bevara is a seasoned senior corporate executive, an esteemed advisor to governments, and an accomplished author renowned for his leadership bestseller, Moment of Signal. His expertise in leadership has earned him recognition as a contributor to Forbes and a sought after motivational speaker at elite institutions such as IIMs, IITs, and prominent American universities. His remarkable leadership contributions have garnered extensive coverage in both Indian and international media. In 2021, Sreedhar Bevara was honored with Amazon's Popular Book Award in Business and Economic segments, a testament to his insightful writing. His latest leadership book, The Roaring Lumps, published by HarperCollins, has achieved national bestseller status and received pre-release endorsements from notable figures like TOI, Dr. Deepak Chopra, and Mark Victor Hansen. But Sridhar's journey is not just about corporate success, it's also about giving back to society. Through the BMR Trust, he extends a helping hand to the needy and suffering, offering them a bright morning rise and instilling hope in their hearts. His passion for leadership, evident in his dynamic talks to world class names in the region, reflects his unwavering commitment to nurturing the leader within each of us. Under the leadership of Sridhar Bevara, an acclaimed author in the realm of leadership and a figure esteemed by numerous influential individuals, including the Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi, BMR Innovations emerges as an Indo Dubai based firm with a worldwide footprint in the fields of management and innovative consulting. This dynamic organization was established in 2017 by the renowned corporate finance professional and lawyer Muralidhar Bivara. With his expertise, we are poised to unravel the secrets of unleashing the boundless potential within our youth through the magical realm of management fable. Welcome, sir. I'd like to express my gratitude to Ms. Mogana Sundari M., Assistant Professor of English, for a diligent effort in organizing this webinar, and to Dr. Brinda P., Associate Professor of English, for her invaluable support as the Head of Department. Welcome, ma'am. As we embark on this enriching journey of knowledge exchange and exploration, I encourage each of you to actively participate, engage in meaningful discussion, and glean inspiration from our esteemed speaker and fellow participants. Once again, a heartfelt welcome to our international webinar. May it be a source of enlightenment, inspiration, and empowerment for all of us gathered here today.
அவங்க
Thank you.
மேம் அவங்க சொல்லும்போது 3000 சொல்ல 3000 அப்படிங்கிறாங்க அதுலயே நம்ம பயப்படுச்சுக்குவோம்.
We are exhilarated to have an eminent personality like you, sir, with us today, connected by a virtual mode. So we request you to take over the session and enrich us with your oration.
Thank you so much, Tarni. That's really appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to first thank Professor Mokana Sundari and Dr. Brinda for having me given this opportunity to speak to the young leaders there. I always wish to speak to people in person, but nevertheless, this is also a great. But that's a very long introduction. I hope I will stand up to the repetition that you spoke about. So I presume that all the audience here have gone through this book, either in the classroom or separately. Is that right, Professor Mokana? Hello, Miss Mokana?
Yes, sir.
Are you
Yes,
there?
sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, so may I presume that this book has been already taught in the classroom? And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It
yeah,
is already being taught. They
okay,
have also taken up a
okay.
test.
Oh, great. Okay, so great. So let's go ahead with our interaction. I will try to speak this. Keep this as an interaction more than one-side monologue. Let's start with the story called David and Goliath. I hope many of you know about the story of David and Goliath. This story took place some 3,000 years ago, and this is between the forces of Palestine and Israel. So those days, Palestine used to have a very, very strong army in comparison to the Israel. But Israel army always lived on the upper part of the mountains, and Palestine was on the lower part of the mountains. Okay, is it okay that I continue? I can hear some voices.
So 1 second, sir. I'm just muting everybody. Just give me a minute. So I think I have muted you too. Can you just unmute and start, sir? I have muted everyone else. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So going back to the story that I was talking about, this is between Palestine and the Israeli forces. This is about some 3,000 years ago. So today, what are we mainly talking is that, as you rightly mentioned, how do we seize the opportunity? But before we getting into that sphere of whether or not this is an opportunity, we need to understand where is that opportunity and how big is that opportunity, how challenging is that opportunity, and can we really handle that opportunity? That is something that we need to.
Participants, please mute yourself. Yes, participants, you have whoever has logged in now, please mute yourself. Sorry, sir. Sorry. Yes, sir, you can continue.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. So, okay, hope everything is settling down. So let's continue. So I was talking about the opportunity. But before we say something there is called something as an opportunity, we need to understand whether or not it is really an opportunity for us. And can we combat that opportunity to convert that opportunity into our favor? So this David and Goliath story that I'm talking about is a prelude for our roaring lambs. So those days, there is also there is a way of single combat. For example, the Palestinian forces were very strong, so they started coming upwards the hill. And the Israeli forces, I'm talking about 3,000 years ago, this is a true story. And the Israeli forces were on the upper part of the mountain. So there was a deadlock as to who will make the first move. So finally, Palestinian forces makes the first move and sends their mightiest warrior called Goliath, who is about 7 foot taller. He has the armor about, the sheen armor about 100 pounds on his body. He's fully armored. He has a piercing javelin. He has a spear. He has a big sword. And he has an assistant who is also carrying some ammunition for him. So he walks forward and he walks upwards the hill. And then he makes a statement. Hey, forces of Israel, I'm here representing the Palestine, and I will be alone. And I'm the mightiest warrior of all the times. So who do you have from your side who can combat me single hand to hand? And if one of us loses or one of us wins, that nation is considered to be the winner. So those days, there used to be that kind of single combats in order to avoid the bloodshed. So the Goliath has announced this, and the king of Israel, King Saul, knew that there is nobody who can confront Goliath because Goliath is known to be the mightiest warrior, the cruel most, and is undefeated. So the story goes like Goliath is already a winner, a champion, and is undefeatable, he's invincible. So that means the moment Goliath walked into the arena of the battlefield, everyone knew who's going to win and who's going to lose. So King Saul had nobody to volunteer to fight Goliath because there's nobody who would dare doing that. But King was called by a small young boy called Shepherd David. And the David said, King, please allow me, and I'm going to fight the Goliath. King smiled at him. You're too young, you're untrained, and you are a shepherd. Look at him. He's going to eat you live. So let's not do this. But David persists, saying that, King, you do not know what I do in the forest, what I do in the jungle. In order to save my flock, secure and the safeguarding the flock, I often fight lions, wolves, hyenas. They are most dangerous, and I do fight them alone. So please do not consider me as an underdog. Give me this opportunity. Since there is nobody else, I'm going to represent you and I'm going to fight him. Despite knowing the fact that David is too young, despite the thought process of King that David is going to lose and he'll be killed, King had no other options but to send David. So before David going, King said, please take my sword. At least this will help you. But David said, no, King, I'm not used to this. I have my own method of fighting this. And then he picks a couple of stones. And he had a sling with him. And he just walks down the hill. And the Goliath on the other side watched, there is a young little boy walking towards him. And Goliath was confused. And then he says, am I a dog that a young boy, like, because the Goliath was offended. And Goliath says, am I a dog that you're coming with sticks? Come near to me. I'm going to feed you to the birds of heaven and to the beasts on the fields. Goliath was offended so much that a little young boy is representing the other country and is going to fight this mighty, undefeated, invincible warrior. Goliath the ego was so hurt. But Goliath also said, come to me. I'm going to feed you to the birds of heavens and the beasts on the fields. Am I a dog that you're coming with sticks? The distinct factor that before we go to Goliath, why did he say these things? Let's talk about David. David was a young boy. He has no training. He's no soldier. All he had was just a stone and a sling. And everyone knew that this boy was an underdog and he'd be killed right away. So why David? David was an underdog. He has no experience on the field. So everyone has misunderstood or misinterpreted the capability of the David. Everyone thought David is going to lose right away. But on the other side, Goliath, looking at him, yes, he was a big warrior. He's a mighty display of a tall man. He's a strong man. His javelin can pierce through maybe a bulletproof the shield. All that is fine. But why Goliath said, come to me, which means Goliath is not agile. He cannot move easily because he's carrying an armory of about 100 pounds. He also has an attendant, which means he has some other problem as well. He's walking very slow upwards. And then the word that he said, come to me, am I a dog that you came with sticks? David had only had one stick, but Goliath was saying sticks, which means I mean, later the fight was over, the medical fraternity started dissecting why did Goliath say these things. Then they understood that Goliath, like any other giant personality, had a problem called acromegaly, which is a special situation at the pituitary gland. Because some of the giant personalities, they keep growing because of this medical condition called acromegaly. And Goliath had such a medical condition. And what is the impact of such a medical condition is that because it presses the nerves of the eye vision, the vision is blurred. They do not have a great vision. That's why he's saying that come to me, because he wanted to fight very close because he has a near sight. And the second thing is he's saying that am I a dog that you kill with sticks? Instead of one stick, he is seeing two sticks. So the point is, the moment we see Goliath, he looks gigantic, he looks invincible, he looks undefeatable, but he has his own challenges that we really do not look into. And the history says the Goliath was David took one stone, put it in the pouch of his sling, and then the revolutions was about 15 revolutions per second. And then the sling is aimed at only one loose spot of Goliath, which is his open space between his eyebrows. Otherwise, he's fully covered with armory. And the stone hits here. Goliath falls down. And then David runs to him, cuts his throat, brings his head back, and Israel wins the war. Now we are connecting the roaring lambs to this story. It clearly says, you are never an underdog, provided you have the courage to face the challenge. But listen, if David did not face the Goliath, will David ever become the champion? Will David ever be spoken even after 3,000 years? We are talking about David today, after 3,000 years. What does it mean? Because David fought with a gigantic challenge. Now, David's reputation has been risen to that level. And David, and I'm sure you all. Okay. So I would prefer Ms. Mokana to keep this as an interaction. If your colleagues at the faculty board or the students, if they want to ask something, then we can probably relate and speak about, and we can dissect about those specific points. What do you think?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir. I've already asked them to. So yes, people. So
Okay.
whoever has to ask anything with the author, you can. Especially second MA people. Those have already read your book. Please come forward and ask
Nice.
questions. You can unmute yourself and ask questions.
See, the point is looking at an opportunity is one thing, but being able to look at the opportunity in its real size is another thing. Because different people perceive an opportunity in a different manner. So looking at an opportunity, how dangerous it is to venture into this opportunity, how risky it is to venture into this opportunity, what kind of an opportunity, what is the context, what is my capacity, how am I able to collaborate with forces so that I can actually attack this opportunity to convert that into a favorable opportunity for me. All these things are not linear. They are simultaneously working. They are not linear. The linear approaches will not work. Simultaneously, you would have to consider a lot of factors, such as environment, such as your ability to collaborate with the forces. So maybe some of the questions that we can dwell more upon and talk about. Go ahead, please. Anyone has anything to share? Any? maybe some of your faculty members can take the lead. Sometimes the students are in a very shell mode.
Bharti ma'am? Okay, yeah. Okay. So maybe I will initiate, sir. So when I read
Okay.
your novel, I just felt being an Indian, you wanted to give us a African setting. And all those names were also very unique, and it was very difficult for us to know how to pronounce those names.
Okay.
So if you could give us an exact idea of why it is an African setting and why you wanted to choose those names, I think we can get a better idea of the book.
Yeah, see, I've been here in this Middle East and Africa for the last 2+ decades. This is my 21st year in this region. Currently, I'm talking to you from Dubai. So I have traveled extensively in Africa, and East Africa is one of the most beautiful African places. And as you all know, the African safari, the African popular as far as the Lion King movie. If you have watched it, the Lion King movie also stems from that area. So East Africa, the Kenya is one of the most important parts as far as this jungle is concerned. And then the names, when you are talking about Kenyan African jungle, the names have to be the real names of that area. So those names were highly researched names. Each name has a meaning, reflection of the character of the. So Shaka, Kaiser, or Kaisen, or the Shuja. So all these names had that whatever the role that they're playing in that. So that is the backdrop of why the names are like that and why is the backdrop. I myself have spent a lot of time in that part, so that while I was writing this book, I realized that I had to spend some time, so I did. So yeah, that is a backdrop of such names and the backdrop of the jungle.
Thank you so much, sir. I think some of the students wanted to ask you. Harita?
Yeah.
Harita, Tarun. Yes, people, just open up
Ma'am,
and
may I
ask.
go ahead, ma'am?
Yes, Kavya.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Kavya. Thank you for addressing us today, sir. So, when I first read your novel, I was thinking about this idea of forgiveness. I thought Kaiser, as a person, could be forgiven at least at some point in his life, because I felt like if someone knocked some sense into him, he would change into a better person and work for the betterment of his community. But I just couldn't find it in myself to forgive Shaka or even Furza for that matter. Now, since the entire book is about a fable about leadership, can you tell us if forgiveness is a quality that every leader should possess? And if so, when should a leader distinguish between forgiving someone or punishing someone? And I would like to ask you if you have met anyone like Shaka or Furza in your corporate career. If yes, how did you deal with them?
That's a very intelligent question, Kavya. Thank you for asking that. See, in life, in society, we always have these Kaisers, Shakas, Pursas, Shuzas. That is how a society is made. And it is not for us to decide whether somebody is right, somebody is wrong. It is always a situation that demands somebody to play some role. So let's not get into who is bad, who is good. Let's not get into whether to forgive somebody or whether to punish somebody. I think the art of maneuvering in the society, because see, the story that what you have read is actually the real reflection of what is happening in the real society. See, what is the idea of us to do this is that in the real society, there is always these strong people, powerful people always temper the nature of the setup. The law of nature always has a certain law and an approach. In the jungle, what is the law of nature? What is the nature's law? We call it the law of jungle or law of nature, is that whenever some animal is hungry, that hunger will be mitigated by means of hunting lesser powerful animal. They do not have the idea of amassing the wealth, amassing the food, and then I will eat it after 1 month, I will eat it after 2 months. They don't do that. Even the strongest animal, lion, it hunts only when it is hungry. In fact, lion hunts once or twice in a month. Because when it eats, it can keep that the lion alive for next 10-15 days. They don't eat every day. Similarly, every animal, and then there is another thing. When an animal is threatened, then also they kill. When an animal is cornered, then also they fight. But under normal circumstances, they go for hunting only when they are hungry on that given time. That is the law of nature. But then what happens in the human mentality, human setup is that they keep tampering the law of nature. We dig the hills, we dig the sand, we dig the mines. We are doing a lot of destruction. And then we do a lot of corruption. I'm talking about the leaders. A lot of corruption. And then they are powerful, so they punish people, they torture people, they harass people. People who are common man, people who cannot fight back, people who think that they are Davids, because these are Goliaths. These are lions, they are powerful. Can you stand against your government? No, we cannot. Can you stand against your whoever the local corporator? No, we cannot. Can you stand against your own lecturer? No, you cannot. Can you stand against your own manager in the corporate setup? No, you cannot. So everywhere there is a layered society fabric where the lesser is always considered as the weaker. However, you also see in the society there are people, there are voices of dissent, there are voices of confrontation, there are voices of candor who could say a spade is a spade. Whether they're punished later or not is a separate thing, but there are such voices. So now you take this setup back into our story of the roaring lamps. The Kaiser always thought, I am the powerful, and then he started resorting to the unnatural methods of attacking lambs for no reason. I mean, come on. I mean, a lion to do this scheming is not nice. It is not really natural. Lion, you know why lion is considered as the king of the jungle? It's not because he is the most powerful animal. No, lion can be defeated by many animals. But why the lion is the king of the jungle is because the lion is never backed. It always takes on the challenge. Lion really, I mean, the courage of lion is something very, very different. The mentality of the lion is that lion thinks I am the boss. And it behaves like a boss. That is why lion is considered as the king of the jungle. So forgiving, forgetting, or punishing, I think historically we should never forget the atrocities. Forgiving is a very individual subjective matter. Some people may feel that, okay, let's move ahead by not indulging into this kind of activity. Because they say, when the hathi is moving, the kutta is the barking. So when the elephant is moving, the dog is barking. So the elephant moves on. It doesn't really care and confront and discuss with the dog. Similarly, it is up to a person whether to indulge into such kind of an activity or just remove that nonsense and then keep progressing in their pursuit of life. I mean, I can continue to speak to you about this matter because this matter is so very deep. For the whole day, I can speak, but I think we need to speak to other students as well. Yes, Kavya, thank you.
Thank you for answering my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, people, anybody else?
Go ahead, feel free.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am, shall I ask my
Yes. That.
Yes, ma'am. Sir, I'm Tarni. So I'd like to ask. I'm a kind of a person who believe that those who win in their life or win whatever they want in their life or something they achieve their goal. I believe that winners don't make excuses when the other side they play the game, and also they are someone who follow their instincts. So you are, I feel that you are one such kind of a person. So what according to you was the driving force to attain such a big position in your life, so achieve your s-
I think I understood your question. So I think, see, first of all, let us not put success ahead of failure, and let us try to understand success is not something that can happen without failures. In my life, because I can speak about myself in general, probably I failed more than I succeeded. I mean, that is the reality of the life. A life cannot exist without failures. And I'm sure each one of you here attending this event do understand that from the morning till evening, we make a lot of choices, but not every choice is converting in our favor. That is a failure. But when you become an employee, when you become, let us say, one of your lecturers, when you become something else in the life, when you become a partner to somebody, when you become a participant in some activity, each time you understand your choices, your actions will not fetch you the result that you desire, which is a failure. However, everybody has their own bandwidth of considering what is failure, what is success. If from 0 to 10, if the bandwidth from failure to success, if the bandwidth is 0 to 10, for example, Prime Minister Modi's success rate for some people could be something. Mr. Nehru's thing is something. Mrs. Indira Gandhi is something. So it is very subjective. What is success? What is failure? But each of us will have to confront these failures. And your question of how do we still progress is because you are able to bind your whatever your choices to a purpose. In my career, I have seen a lot of failures. A lot of failures means really a lot of failures. Some failures, quickly I'll talk about one of my failures. At the age of 18, I come from a humble background, but my family had a big reputation. Such as my grandfathers, they lived very, very, very well. In the village that we belong to, they are the what do you call that? They are the like they held this village head roles. So my family had a reputation. If outside, if I say I'm the grandson or the son of somebody, they know that okay, he belongs to that family. However, my generation, we came to a very humble background, and then probably the below poverty line is here, so we became like this. And under those circumstances, I had to start something in order to put food in my family's plate. So as a one of the siblings of the four, I thought, okay, I'll start doing something, and I became a street vendor. Started vending milk packets, and I used to vend these milk packets to those street shops. You know, those chai wala shops, small vendors will be there on the side of the roads. I used to supply to them. But what happened was I used to supply to them, and then after the end of the first month, I realized they don't pay money back so easily. Unfortunate. So I was giving them on credit because I have to add more customers. Those days I thought supplying itself is the sale, but later I understood collecting money is the only sale. So I could not collect the money. I lost like 3 months. When I speak to them, when I insist that they have to pay me back, they would say, no, I can't pay. Either you supply or stop. What happens if you stop supplying? You will lose all that money because you will kind of, that circle is over. So I fell into that kind of a vicious circle, and then I lost a lot of money. At that time, I think I lost about 4,000-5,000 rupees in a span of 3-4 months. That was the biggest failure, because for me, I've never seen a note of 500 by then, and I've lost about 4,000-5,000 rupees. That's a big failure. I started my life, the career with a massive failure. And recent failure, I will tell you, recently the COVID between 21 and 20, I think 2021, there was a time in India, I think second COVID wave, there was a lot of news that was going on around, and there is no oxygen, so people are dying. The Times magazine of US is spreading a lot of lies and sad, tragic stories of India. So world was seeing India as India is burning because of the second wave, and India was not prepared as far as the oxygen supply is concerned. So I thought I should do something, and then with the help of a couple other entrepreneurs, we have imported a consignment of about 1.5 crore worth oxygen concentrators. And just because there was a delay in the logistics arrangement, so we delayed that import by about 20 days or maybe 30 days. By the time import came and was ready to distribution, the COVID second wave has diminished. Do you know what happened? I think we could sell out of about 200-250 oxygen concentrators, we could sell maybe 1 or 2. Rest all of them, I think some were given to charity, because we also run a charity, and rest everything is there, lying dead in the warehouse. But what I'm saying is, that's not my everything. Yes, there was a failure, but in the morning when I'm waking up, when I wake up, I realize that I'm still alive. About 12-13% they don't wake up when they sleep. I'm alive. And then I can get down from the bed. That means I am mobile. That's it. That is the blessing I need. Now the remaining day, I will organize my day. I will push myself to convert these opportunities, to face the confrontations, to take on the challenges, because what is my purpose that my life is bound to? I have bounded my life to some purpose, to become something, to help people, to spread my knowledge or my experience, whatever is the purpose that I have. So each one of you, when confronted with unbelievable challenges, you may think that this is the end of the story. I am not even ready to live. You always have to remember that you have to bind yourself to a purpose. And that purpose will make you start going again. Failures are part of your life. Remember this. So never have this distinction between success and failure. Success is understood, enjoyed well only when you are crossing certain failures. So yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know if I have answered your question, but
Sir, thank you, sir. I think you are a very lively person. So I thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
thank you. Yes,
Hello,
go
sir.
ahead. I can see a lot of people. Yeah.
Good. Hello, sir. This is Sharon. So
Good.
the question that I have for you is, first of all, I should appreciate you, sir, for weaving such an enchanting tale because I am a person who believes that leadership is not about position or power. So everybody thinks like, okay, if you have this position or you have the title, then you are a leader. But leadership is not something about as it emerges from within. So you have rightly encapsulated that aspect within the character Cation. So uh, that's really commendable, sir. Thank you so much for that like aspect that you brought out. And the question that I have for you is, what are the challenges that you faced while incorporating the emotions of humans within the animals? Because it's a fable, and you have brought out the aspect of leadership. So, what are the challenges you face while incorporating the emotions of humans within animals?
I mean, there is no special effort as far as keeping the emotions. All thought was to have a fable which will reflect or which will have the setting of the humankind, so that the reader, when somebody is reading the book, will have automatically a visual, and they will be able to feel that, okay, yeah, this person is like this person is like this, so they can relate with their own setup, because each one of us comes with a setup. We have our own environment. It could be within our family, it could be within our friend circle, within our relative circle. There is somebody behaving like some of these characters. So it is easy for us to relate when we are reading. You are not reading as if a Shaka is a lamb, or Kaiser is a king, or Kaisen is a young lion. These are the characters which are easy for us to relate. See, that is the idea of the author in the beginning. But when I started writing, because I had this idea actually belongs to some 14-15-year-old idea. But I was not able to bring this into a story for a very long time. In fact, my other book, Moment of Signal, was born much later to this story of the Roaring Lamps, and it was published before, I think 2 years ahead of this Roaring Lamps. Otherwise, the Roaring Lamps was my first story in my head. After reading a caption called, this was 3,000 years ago, Alexander often tells, he used to tell, I'm afraid of a group of lambs which was led by a lion, than group of lions led by a lamb. He always spoke about a leader, even if that leader is only one, can transform the group's thinking process, make the group feel that, yes, we can. We are not lesser than anybody. It is the leader's greatest ability to inspire people by telling them that, listen, you got the strength, you got the ability to think. Only thing is that you need to know how to collaborate with each other, and together we can hit the target. But remember one thing, leadership is, as you said, leadership is, it is without a title. It is a responsibility and not a position. But believe you me, the reality, the harsh reality, you're all still young. Maybe your faculty can understand this, what I'm saying. Leadership is one of the most thankless roles. Most thankless. Unfortunately, even if you have fulfilled 99 wishes of the group, you failed in one wish, the whole group will they will taint you as this leader is best. That is the mentality today in the society. Leadership, believe you me, is not a position, not a responsibility. It is a choice. If you, each one of you, ladies and gentlemen, my young leaders, future leaders, leadership, if you want to be a leader, whether it's within your family, within your circle, in the society, in the office, anywhere you want to assume that power of being a leader, please understand it is the most thankless jobs on the earth. People will only find faults with your problems. With your one problem out of 100, you have only one problem, you have only one failure. people will attack that one failure. Every leader, in the end of the day, they will regret being the leader. But great leaders, they emerge again because that is their choice. That's their choice. That is why they are leaders. If you want to become a leader, you will not become a leader just because you are made with a title. That's something that it is your choice. So people, leadership is a choice, and understand leadership is the most toughest role to play. If you're ready for it, take the journey. And if not, believe you me, that's not for you. You better be a follower in that case. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, people, just a
Good
reminder.
afternoon, sir. This is Mamta.
Yes, people. People, again, we have only 10 minutes. So if the meeting is left over, please to join back, okay? Yes. Yes, I think you people have much more questions.
Yes.
Yes, ask. You can. Yes, people, you can post your question. We have hardly 8 minutes for this session to end. If it ends, you people can just rejoin it. Okay, you can ask your questions. So sorry again.
Ma'am, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. This is Madhumita. And my question to you is, how do you think a person can retain his individuality or his ideology when there's constant pressure from the mass and the society to conform to the existing norms and rules? Because as we can see in the story, even though people from the lion community is not satisfied with Caesar's rule and his ideology of killing for greed rather than for need, no one dares enough to question it or go against it, because the easy way is to conform to the society and the existing norms. But Kazan does. He does not give up his ideology just because the mass people go along with it. So he gets hurt when trying to change things, but he does not give it up. So what do you think the problems that one would face while trying to retain his ideology? Because it might be easy to say that we must have our own ideology and we should not give it up, but when actually putting it into use, it's very difficult, because we might even clash with our close friends and family. So what do you think about it?
So, I mean, you're asking how do we go against the conformity of the society? Is that your question?
Yes, sir. How do we retain our ideology when there's a pressure to conform to the rules?
See, I mean, there is no single way, there is no linear way to handle this, because these are very, very subjective and situational. There are different leaderships, situational leadership, servant leadership. Like, there are many leaderships today people are talking about. But the most easiest of all is being a situational leader. You have an idea, but if you do not have an environment or the people around you who are not going to believe about it, what are you going to do? You're going to, and then finally you will be branded as an insane person, because you do not talk the language of the group. So it is essential for a leader or for a person with a different voice to make sure to create that environment. If any one of you are from the farming background, whether your parents or your grandparents, you would understand. Even if you have the best seed with you, that seed cannot be yielded or produced with a better plant or sapling unless your soil is ready. What is that readiness of the soil? Is if you want to implement something, if you want to speak about something, if you want to change something, you need to work on who is that and what is that area that you have to work on. Unless preparing that ready, your word will not have effect the thought seed will not take the shape, and you will end up in frustration. So it is more important, because this is what I'm saying, the array of the ammunition that is required by a leader is not just being able to think well, being able to have the art of leading or dealing with the people. The people management is one of the most critical factors. And then the second one is the communication. One of the most important essences of the entire gamut of the leadership arena is that your communication. And the third one is your approach or your body language. You know, they say this is the best language on the earth. This is the Tamil being one of the oldest languages, Sanskrit being one of the oldest languages. So we have these, but in my understanding, in my little experience, there is one language which is always above every language. Can anyone tell me what is that language?
Is it body language, sir?
Absolutely. Who is that?
This is Madhumita, sir.
Fantastic. Please give her a big hand. I think that she deserves a big hand. The biggest language, the finest language, the language above everything is your body language. Because people, without you even uttering a word, will understand what kind of a body language. Some people, they have a body language which is more embracing, more inviting, more open. And some people do have a body language which is always rejecting, refuting. So there is a body language, because body language is part of your approach. I'm sure you must have seen a movie called Pursuit of Happiness. I'm assuming that you're all saying yes. Okay. There's a movie called Pursuit of Happiness, acted by an actor called Will Smith. It is based on a real story of Chris Gardner, who is still alive, who is the billionaire. It is based on his story, The Pursuit of Happiness. And in this, he attends an interview, and in that interview, see, and even I can relate that with my own career. I might have interviewed many people in my career. And what do I look at an interviewee is that what is his body language or her body language? This is number one. And what is her attitude towards something that she doesn't know? Because in interview, often we feel obliged to know everything. Even the interviewers also feel sometimes they give an impression that the person who they are interviewing should know everything, which is very wrong. There is nobody that will know everything. The reality.
Yes, sir, you can continue. Yes, sir, thank you.
Yeah. So in the interview, what we always look at is the attitude. In that movie, in an interview scene, one of the questions asked to him, he said, "Sir, excuse me, because I don't know the answer." And then he doesn't stop there. That's not a full stop. So people are looking at him. And then he says, "But I am a person. I will go back, sir. I'll work on it. I will know about it, and then come back, try to implement in my actions subsequently." That is the attitude. We do not want anybody or everybody to know everything. But do we have somebody who is willing to say that I don't know and then learn about it? Come on, I mean, we are human beings. In my case, I can't know everything. I don't have supernatural powers. None of you will have that. Maybe some people are fortunate, they are special, they're blessed, they will have higher knowledge, higher IQ than us. Congratulations to them. But it is important for us to understand there is a limitation. And it is important for us to understand that we have limitations. Because without understanding we have limitations, we'll become an animal that is unleashed without understanding the consequences. When you know about your limitations, the consequences will be much more visible. Then you'll understand how do we maneuver, how to approach. I think that's very important. Yes, Madhumita.
Thank you, sir.
I think, see, these breaks are a bit, they set you off guard.
It's
The
actually
rhythm
disturbing
will
it.
go off. No, that's okay. Okay, next, anybody has anything more to share?
Yes, people, Elshina,
Ask.
Pratika, yes,
Yes.
anybody can.
Am I audible?
Yes, Elshina,
Yes,
you're
good.
audible.
Yes, sir. So, greetings of the day, sir. I do not know what time it is there, but like I do have a question from what I have observed and your answer for our friend Tharani's question. You're speaking about the purpose in life and how you are grateful to be even alive, and then you focus on striving towards the purpose in towards survival. But we've read a lot about you, about your success in career. But I want to know the journey, your mental journey about finding the purpose in your life. And my question is that how are you able to do that, find your purpose in life, and how you're still pursuing it, or do you ever have any doubts towards that in your current?
Nice, thank you. I mean, this is a very relevant subject. If you all know, I am sure you all know Steve Jobs, and if some of you do not know what I'm going to talk, please go back and after this session, go and watch this video of Steve Jobs speaking at Stanford University. And then he tells, very importantly and famously, he tells, it is important and it is also impossible for us to connect the dots looking ahead. Connecting the dots looking ahead is impossible. But you can connect the dots looking backwards. Such as, okay, at the age of 18, 19, I became a street vendor, then I became a waiter, then I also worked at a meat shop, purely cutting the meat. And then I became something, I went back to studies. So, am I audible? Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
I went back to studies and then I went back to corporate, a lot of failures, up and down, finally I'm here. Now, when I look back, I can connect the dots. Oh, that has happened. Oh, this is why. Now I'm able to picture my story. Looking forward, I cannot picture my story. However, coming back to your question of purpose, how do we bind ourselves to a purpose and what is that purpose? This purpose, it keeps moving. It is a dynamic purpose. People talk about vision. My vision is this. The Prime Minister says, my vision is this, Viksit Bharat by 2047. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu says, my vision is this for Tamil Nadu. Every leader speaks about vision. America has a vision that, the part of the vision is that I wish, the famous, I'm forgetting his name, the activist, the junior. Can anyone help me? Who's the activist?
Greta Thunberg, sir.
Sorry?
Greta Thunberg.
No. She's not. She's a social activist. Recent. I'm talking about in 60s. Oh my God. He's an American activist, and he famously said, "I have a dream." Can anyone help me? Bringing his name. Who said, "I have a dream"?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther. So I was purposefully, deliberately pushing if somebody could help me. Martin Luther King Jr. This gentleman said, "I have a dream." And what is the dream of the America? For example, today also, what is the vision of America? It says, I have a dream of having a white kid white kid hand in hand with a black kid walk carefree in the society. The vision is always never achieved. Remember this. Vision is always a dynamic thing. So is your purpose. You cannot say, my purpose is only this. In each phase of your life, your purpose keeps moving. Sometimes your purpose gets solidified. It gets really broader. Maybe your purpose is, for example, I want to influence people. I want to impact the lives of the people. But how? Each phase of your career, you will be able to have a different meaning. How to empower people around you has a different meaning in each phase of your career. Similarly to mine. When I was a waiter, when I was a street vendor, when I was a worker, a daily worker, and when I was a small employee to whatever I am, my purpose is being redefined. And it is important for you to keep yourself binding so close to that purpose, because that is the real necessity of your entire survival and career. And things will happen when you're moving upwards. Things will happen, things will fall in place. Sometimes things will not. But you know what is your purpose. So what I'm trying to say is, you cannot really plan the purpose in the future. This purpose keeps redefined. It gets redefined at each phase of your career. And that is the situational leadership that I'm talking about. So you, it is very subject to the person knows what should be the purpose and why that person is doing something. Whether they're doing, they're working in a corporate, they're working in a society, they're working as a philanthropist, whatever the activist, whatever the role that you have taken up, your purpose is something that it fuels your journey towards the vision, which is very dynamic. Vision is always very dynamic. Visions are never achieved. That is why they're vision. The moment vision is achieved, then what? Will you have a new vision? So in my vision, if I say, I want to see my society flourishing, where there is no disturbances of the religion or the caste, the sect, all these social stigmas. But will that happen? But we will work, we will strive hard to have such kind of a society. So that's a vision. So your purpose gets redefined as you are growing in your career. Yeah, I think I've answered. I see there is a challenge of time, so yes, please.
Thank you for answering the questions. As we are getting out of the college, we are towards the journey of attaining our ultimate purpose. So I think this will be helpful for all my friends too. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. So is there anyone who would like to ask something or share something?
Sir, HOD ma'am has posted a question in the chat.
Yeah, please read it for me.
Sir, good afternoon. Would any person motivate others when they themselves are not developed or not achieved anything?
Come again. It seems to be very interesting.
Would any person motivate others when they themselves are not developed or not achieved anything?
I think wonderful question. I think Dr. Brinda asked this. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Dr. Brinda, sir.
It's a wonderful question. In this, so now this becomes my personal answer. So this is not an answer which is available in the society. So consider this as my personal, and if some of you disagree, please leave it there. So in my humble opinion, somebody who didn't do anything becomes armchair expert. These armchair experts, they have never done in their life anything. They're always sitting on the fence. They're always sitting on the bank, talking about what is the depth of the water, who is swimming, telling her, no, you have to swim like this. No, you're not swimming right. Somebody who's sitting on the fence keeps telling, no, you have to play like this. Somebody who's sitting on a chair tells you how to stand. Those who have not done anything should not have the moral right or capacity to tell somebody else, because you do not have the moral right to preach. These are preachers, armchair critics, armchair experts. If you really want to speak about battle, you should have been a warrior. If you really want to speak about corporate world, you should have worked somewhere. If you really want to see what is the most important thing today in the society, okay, since the time shortage, I am going to answer. It is, one of the key aspects is money, the wealth. But those who do not know how to earn money, can they talk about how to spend money? Can they talk about where to invest money? Obviously not. He who cannot earn money cannot teach us how to spend money. And he who does not do anything will never have a moral right to tell anything, which brings to the question of Dr. Brinda, can that person inspire? Well, I don't think so. That person can never inspire because that person has not done anything. Probably there are many leaders in each layer that are doing an exemplary job. And it is important for us to respect, recognize those leaders around us. That is when the leader in you is also respected and recognized by others. Today, we cannot become Elon Musk's, Mukesh Ambani's, President Biden or Prime Minister Modi. No. Even Mr. Prime Minister Modi has risen from a small cadre karyakarta to Prime Minister today. He did not become Prime Minister overnight. So is your Chief Minister. They did not become Chief Minister overnight. There is a journey. There is a vast journey. So let us understand that it is important for us to take note that you should have done something to at least inspire some others. Thank you, Dr. Brinda, for asking this question. Really an important question.
Thank you. Is anybody else?
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead. I have only 5 minutes more because I'm overstepping into another meeting. But let's quickly answer your question. Go ahead, please.
So my question is that Shaka, being a lamb, he managed to manipulate the great king. Even though the king had a great vision and norms, he was just manipulated by a small sheep. So is it the power of Shaka or the fault of the king which made the story move?
Wonderful question. Wonderful question. It is neither the power of Shaka nor the need of the, nor the greed of the king. It is the situation, because in simple terms, a lion's life is one of the most difficult lives in the jungle. Not many people know. The moment we think it is the story of Goliath. The moment we see Goliath, Goliath is going to come and defeat us. Similarly with lion. But remember, lion, out of every 10 times it goes to hunt, only twice it can actually get the prey. The hit ratio of a lion is very, very poor. And then lion doesn't understand the wind direction. Often it fails. Lion cannot hunt just by individually. It requires a lot of choreography around it. Lioness hunts, not lion hunts often. And lion, for its prey, it has to be within, it has to align itself to the nearest proximity, because a lion doesn't have the stamina. It has the power. So that means 30 meters within the power, the prey has to be there. Otherwise, it is most likely is not going to hit the prey. So there are a lot of challenges. Lion's life is miserable. Despite we say it king of the jungle, a lion has all these negatives, all these shortcomings, all these limitations. Shaka has manipulated based on those limitations. Shaka said, listen, my mighty king, why should you worry about waiting for or planning to get a prey for days together? I'm going to show you where you can just go and hit. That became the hitting point. That became the manipulation point.
Yes, sir.
I think
Sir.
we run short of this. So
Yes, sir.
otherwise, I
Thank you,
could
sir.
speak more about it.
No
Yeah.
issue, sir.
Anything?
I will just ask these people to give their questions, and I will just mail you, sir.
Sorry, come again.
I will just ask these people to give any other further questions, and I will just mail you those questions, sir, so that you will have enough time.
Please, I'll be more happy to interact. Maybe you can go and see my LinkedIn page.
Yes, sir.
I'll try to answer your questions if you have, or anywhere, wherever, Insta, I'm on the social skills. It is my opportunity to speak to you because I take energy. I draw inspiration from young people like you because what you have will never be matched by people who are above your age. I really wish I think like what you are thinking today at your age. I never had such a wisdom. So I always admire younger people because of you younger people, the nation is growing, the world is growing. If anybody tells you that you cannot do, you're a small thing, you are nothing, never believe that. Never ever believe such words. You are capable of doing greatest things on this earth. The youth has that power. If the youth is not doing such things, the world wouldn't have moved so far, so advanced like this, right? So let's not get into the. There are thousands of people who are going to talk about negative things. But remember, let us keep ourselves to talk about positive things. Even the baddest baddie will have some positive thing, and let's talk about that positive thing. Why? Because there are thousand others who are going to talk about the negative things. Let's focus on positive things. And I want to remind you, you have a greatest leadership possibility within you. You need to uncover that. Whether the situation will uncover, whether your purpose will uncover, keep finding that doors and be the great that you can be, you possibly be. Never believe the negative connotations against your capability. Never ever believe. My best wishes to you.
Thank you, sir. I think Dr. Brinda ma'am wanted to tell you something. Brinda ma'am, if you could unmute and talk.
Sir, good afternoon. Really, I'm so happy to have you. But as I have posted in the group, I wanted, if you are in India at Coimbatore, I wanted your presence in our college. I wanted you to meet our students at the earliest, sir. Kindly, please make sure if you're in India, visit our college, particularly visit our students, sir. They'll be interested to listen to you in person, sir. It's a kind of obligation from our side, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I look forward to doing that. Whenever I'm in India next time, I'll let Miss Mokana know. Maybe we can organize the logistics so that I can visit your college. I'll be very happy to do that.
Yes, sir, they are,
Thank you,
because
sir.
these people are the first person to have your book in the syllabus. So there are many upcoming group of people who are awaiting to know the roaring clams. So if possible, whenever you come back to India, just come and visit us in person.
Well, I want to thank Ms. Mokana for proposing this book, and I also want to thank PSG. I know that PSG is one of the finest from the South India, which is one of the oldest colleges, and I congratulate the students to be part of such a college, and I really thank everybody, especially the faculty board, to introduce the Roaring Lambs as as your syllabus. I'm very honored and privileged. Thank you so much. In fact, yesterday, Mr. Modi, I came to know that he has mentioned my journey in his Man Ki Baat. Today I'm speaking to you. I'm very glad. I'm very glad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
For making this book part of your syllabus.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So we will have an official vote of thanks. Madhuvarchini?
Yes, ma'am. I will.
Yes, sir. You can take over.
Yes, sir. On behalf of the Department of English from PSG CAS, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate.
Yes. Thank you. And others, please stay back. I will just post you the link for your attendance.